Hey guys, how's it going? I'm the Duke of Italy, favorite lo-fi music YouTuber, and welcome back to a lo-fi review. Welcome to Unreleased April. This is the month we're doing for April, and my laptop's out of commission, so that's why the lighting is very warm on me right now. Kind of a mess, but this is what we're doing. And I thought, what would be better to kick off Unreleased April, because we'll be covering things that are bootlegs, leaks, or post-mortem releases. Then something that I can't include the album cover of because I might get demonetized for that. Today we're covering the bootleg Mayhem album, Dawn of the Blackhearts. Now, if you guys don't know the story behind Dawn of the Blackhearts, so basically the album cover is a picture of the former lead vocalist of Mayhem dead, formerly of Morbid fame, originally from Sweden, and he was in Mayhem for a while. And if you don't know, him and the guitarist Euronymous had a very rocky relationship, uh, emotionally abusive to say the least. Euronymous would frequently give him death threats. He convinced him to kill himself, which is why he even committed suicide in the first place, even though Dead was already very, very depressed beforehand. So that's kind of why he killed himself. And Euronymous was a sick dude, so he rearranged the scene and took a picture, and that was the album cover for this bootleg album. Now, before I actually get into the content of this album, since I'm not recording any Fall Guys or any video games this week, Monster released a new Rehab flavor, and Rehab is like my favorite line of them. I love the juice ones, but these are great because they're like no calories, and they got sugar, but it's very low. This is new strawberry lemonade. I love this design. It's just so bold and red. It's very interesting. All the other ones are very like muddled and kind of like glowy, but this is just straight up like, I don't know. Kind of reminds me of like Jurassic Park or something. All right. This one's strawberry lemonade flavor, so we're gonna see how it is. Smells good. Yeah, so this is gonna be a unique review because I have my notebook right here, and normally you guys don't even know I have notes, but I'm not able to edit this one, so we're just gonna see how it goes. So. Yeah, it's like a sports drink or something that has a flavor of strawberry lemonade, but it's not quite strawberry lemonade. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think there's 160 milligrams in here. Yeah. So that's a typical monster. All right, that's good. That's good. If you like monster, might as well try that one because I think every monster flavor just about. I haven't tried Ultra Black, but most of them are pretty much worth trying. Anywho, Dawn of the Blackhearts. Let's get into it. So, Dawn of the Blackhearts was released as a bootleg live album. All the clips were taken from one show, just kind of front to back, I believe. I don't know which show it was, but they did re-release Dawn of the Blackhearts a couple years later. I'm not going to cover this material, but it was live in, I think, Ski is the way it's spelled, from 1986, which that's back when they had, I think I want to say Messiah as a vocalist, who was only vocalist of Mayhem for about a year, because Mayhem just started at that point. Like that back then, they were using Necrobutcher and Euronymous as the vocalists, not quite the famed vocalists as we would come to know. I mean, Maniac wasn't even in the band yet. I don't think. It was basically just Celtic Frost and Venom covers, and they pretended to be super edgy. And I think there's a live clip of them performing this, and Euronymous pulls his pants down at the end, and you see his butt. It's very punk, I guess. Um, I've kind of combed through their early catalogs to see kind of the things they've released for this review. And this release on Dawn of the Blackhearts is very consistent with their other live albums at the time. They pretty much had a consistent set list. The only difference, and kind of the reason I actually recommend other albums just on principle over this, Pagan Fears is a song that's included on Live in Leipzig and Zeitz as well. So if you like that song, which you probably should, it's a very, very great song. It's better in those versions because it's included in the set. But otherwise, every other song is the same, and the set list is pretty similar as well. So the tracks are actually taken from 3 different Mayhem releases before this point. Mayhem had a whole bunch of releases, but they're all very, very minor up until Day Mysteries. Basically, the biggest one was Death Crush, which was their EP/demo. It started as a demo, then they re-released it as an EP. Metal Archives is kind of confusing on that. They're not always on the ball with that kind of thing, but that's how they released it. Death Crush was a short little EP, very wild sounding, very thrashy. Took a song from Pure Mother Effing Armageddon, their very first demo, which was back when they had Necrobutcher and Euronymous on vocals, like I said earlier. And that album, a lot of people don't like that much because it's like so raw and primitive for them. Like they were like teenagers when they made that album, or that demo rather. And then they went on and made the Death Rehearsals, I believe, which was like half Dead Kennedys covers, which was interesting because like you don't really think of black metal. Like there's obviously a punk influence to the sound. It's very primitive sounding and it's not very technical and it's also very raw. But you don't really think of Dead Kennedys, especially with NSBM being a thing after that. You think it'd be completely at odds, but there is a pretty strong punk influence there. So you do have a lot of Death Crush releases on here. I think almost the entire EP is on their live performances. And then you've got a series of tracks that were released on Day Mysteries on here. Of course, you're going to get Freezing Moon. You can't have a Mayhem live release without Freezing Moon, unless it's like live in Montreal, but no one likes live in Montreal anyway. And that was released in like 2018, so who even cares? So basically you have those 2 releases, and then you have the track Carnage, which comes from a little studio sessions demo that they made, which was actually the debut of Freezing Moon. I have not listened to the studio sessions demo, but honestly, this was my first introduction to the track Carnage on this album. Every other song I was introduced to beforehand. Carnage is a great song, and here it actually sounds really good. Other than that, very spotty tracks here. First of all, the personnel on this particular bootleg here is the infamous Dead, Euronymous, Necrobutcher, and Hellhammer lineup. Hellhammer has been in the band not quite the whole time, but just about once the Death Crush people got together, or I think right after that, because I think they made Mannheim as a song, which was named after their drummer or something. Hellhammer is one of the more prominent members. Necrobutcher now is one of the more prominent members, but he left, obviously because of the whole suicide thing with Dead. He was very upset with Euronymous, if you don't know. And you have, obviously, Euronymous, who's highly infamous, and then Dead on vocals. Now, some people rank Attila higher on their ranking of the vocalists. And in my personal opinion, I'd go Maniac Attila, then Dead at the top. I think Maniac, his vocals live are like not very good. There's live shows of him in like 2005 where he just sounds like he's like yelling, but it's like not even like it's nothing screechy, it's nothing abrasive, it's just kind of whatever. Attila has a very interesting tone. I just think on tracks like Funeral Fog, it very much shows the flaws in it, where his growls just sound kind of weird. But Dead sounds inhuman, and I've pointed this out before, but Dead just sounds fantastic and everything. So if you want more information on these tracks as the songs are, I covered it in my Black Metal Essentials video. It's a very long video, but you can probably find where the album is in there somewhere. I have all the covers up. You can see it in the picture. But so that's those songs. But the Death Crush songs are very different. They're a lot thrashier and a lot angrier. There's a weird dichotomy on this release. So between the Death Crush material and the Day Mysteries material, there's a huge divide in quality, because the Day Mysteries material was more into the actual black metal side of things. It was very more second wave, while their other material was more first wave. And their first wave material was a lot crazier, a lot more chaotic, and it actually works well with its production style. Now, if you've heard anything about this release other than the fact that it's an incredibly graphic cover, it's lo-fi. It's very lo-fi. It's someone just recorded them on stage. Now, their live recordings are beyond raw, not quite Paysage d'Hiver, levels of muddy, but pretty muddy, and it doesn't sound nearly as purposefully connected in that way. So it's rough production, and it's not really production. It's just rough recording quality, I guess you could say. Now, the Day Mysteries material sounds incredibly muddy here. The only track on here that I would actually recommend out of the Day Mysteries material is Freezing Moon. Those early guitar riffs, they just peak out above the mix enough. The bass guitar on this album, just as a whole, is audible for about 30 seconds of like the 38-minute runtime. It's actually kind of criminal. Necro Butcher gets no love on this release, but there are a couple intros that you hear the bass guitar particularly, and a part in Freezing Moon, so you do hear him there, and it's a great build up every time. So it's pretty good there. The Death Crush material, other than the track Chainsaw, you guys know the infamous title if you know Death Crush, they all sound actually pretty good. They're not perfect sounding by any means, because just the recording quality is so beyond terrible. But I actually do recommend listening to this for the Death Crush material. And Carnage. Carnage sounds wonderful here. It's very, very energetic, very, very fast, very fun. It's just great. And other than that, and I think in the other live albums too, you get Dead with his little like vocal introductions to the songs where he's like introducing them. Freezing Moon, he has a fun one. He says, when it's cold and it's dark, the freezing moon can obsess you. I don't know what that even means, but it's fun. It's very atmospheric, and it's a really interesting release. This is because you hear the audience in the background, like in between songs, and you hear them chattering, and it's very funny in this context, because if you like look at the picture of like Dead with like his skull like opened up, and you hear about these people, it kind of puts you in his mindset. Almost, it's almost very atmospheric in this way, because you like hear these people, and you're like, Dead doesn't like these people that much, probably. Dead was very much a loner, not a social guy at all. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. So those are the tracks of Dawn of the Blackhearts. Dawn of the Blackhearts, very interesting release. So the recording quality is just terrible for the most part. If you want a better release with Dead on it, go ahead and listen to Live in Leipzig. That's probably my favorite the live releases in terms of just material on there. It's pretty much the same track listing as Live in Zeitz, but on Spotify, the deluxe edition includes Live in Zeitz. So I think you can probably get a release of that somewhere that you can buy with Dead on it, and it's got both. Now, there isn't that much of a difference, but go ahead and get it. And the reason I like Live in Leipzig more than it, because it still is very raw. It has a fuzz at the bottom instead of just being like compressed and kind of gross. But the fuzz is very much like, it's very Burzum-esque. And I'm just a huge fan of Burzum. I wore the shirt today because it's my only black metal shirt other than the Klaus Collide one, but that's Black Gaze, and that they're not accepted in the black metal group, black metal groupings, I guess you could say. So that's the album. For this material, for Dead, listen to Live in Leipzig, listen to Morbid's material. I don't really recommend this release overall. If you're a completionist, go ahead and listen to it. I would much more recommend there's a YouTube version that was remastered. The differences aren't insane. It's still very raw, but some people in the comments were like, wow, this is listenable. That's debatable. It's still very raw and very primitive, but it sounds okay. And that's about it. So that's my first project covered for Unreleased April. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and comment down below. What's your favorite Mayhem release? You guys like Mayhem at all? What's your favorite black metal project? Who's your favorite vocalist of Mayhem? Most people actually pick Attila, but I know the meme is like, oh, rest in peace, Dead. He's a legend. He would have loved to see this around. But unironically, I think he's a fantastic vocalist. So that's about it. I hope you guys are doing well out there, and hope to see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.